Hi folks, you are already familiar with the LTSpice UI and toolbox. In last couple of episodes, you have become familiar with the constructions, basic CMOS circuits such as inverter, NAND, NOR, AND, OR, XOR and XNOR gates. In this episode, we will construct a CMOS buffer using 4 monolithic PMOSFETs and NMOSFETs, where the PMOSFETs has double the area of the NMOSFETs for mobility balancing. We will apply pulsed waveform shaped like square waveform as the input of the constructed CMOS buffer. We will apply proper DC biasing and transient analysis to check the functionality and performance of the constructed CMOS buffer circuit. So stay tuned, stay focused. Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode, we will be constructing a CMOS buffer. Here, we will use 4 monolithic MOSFETs. 2 of them are PMOS, 2 of them are NMOS. The PMOSs have double the area of the NMOSFET for mobility balancing. And we will use a pulsed waveform shaped like a square waveform to verify the constructed CMOS buffer output. So without any further delay, let's begin. Let me double click the LTSpice icon. And here you can see the LTSpice window has opened. Now I will click the new schematic icon, and here you can see the dashboard has opened. I'll have to save the file. I'll go file and then save as, and here I will save it as CMOS buffer circuit. I'll click save, and here you can see the name of the file is coming at the left top corner. Now I will start constructing the circuit. First I'll go to the components to pick the MOSFETs. Here I pick the PMOS4 model, which is a monolithic MOSFET, and this is we are using from last couple of episodes for constructing the CMOS. I'll click place, and I will place the first PMOS, the second PMOS, and then I'll right click to vanish it. In a similar way, I'll again go to the components. I'll pick the NMOS4 model, which is a monolithic MOSFET model, as we are using since last couple of episodes. I'll click place, and I will place the NMOS just below each of the PMOS, and I will right click to vanish it. Now I will zoom out a bit so that I can place other things and make the interconnections. I'll click save, then I will click here the components, go up to right, I click the voltage icon and I will place it. So here I'll click and place the voltage which will be used as the VDD. I'll right click to vanish it, draw the VDD line. I'll go up to this right. I'll click here, come downwards, then bend left and connect with this. In the similar fashion, I will tie the substrate high of this pin. Again, I will connect the drain to the VDD, this drain. Again, I will click this drain to VDD. Now I'll create a ground line. I'll click here, come downwards, go right, go up to some extra point to keep space for the load resistance. I'll click here, finish the line, right click to vanish it. Now I'll first tie the substrates to the ground line, and I'll connect the sources to the ground line. And now I'll do a interconnection of the source and drain. Then I'll connect the 2 gates together. Again, I'll do the same thing here. I'll click and connect the 2 gates together. I'll make an interconnection here, and I'll measure the output here. I'll pick up this point, go up to this, click here, come downwards, right click to vanish it. Now I'll click on the resistor icon, place a load resistor here, right click to vanish it. Let me click and finish this interconnection of the load resistor. Okay, right click here. I saved the circuit up to this point. Now I will place another voltage source which will act as the input vector. I'll click it here, right click to vanish it. Now I will make the interconnection. I'll click here, go up to this point, go right and click here. And from this point, I touch the ground line and connect it. I'll right click to vanish it. Now one thing remaining, I'll click the ground to place the ground. Right click here and I'll again click the wiring and I connect this ground with the ground line. So I'll click save. Now right click to vanish it. All the things in this circuit, buffer circuit, are placed. That means all the placeholders are now done. Now I will give the values one by one. I start with the PMOS. I right click here. So the length will be 20 micro, width will be 200 micro. Click OK. For the PMOS here, I'll do the same. That is 20 micro and 100 micro. I'll click OK. Now for the NMOS, I'll keep the gate length same as 20 micro. However, I will make the width half of the PMOS so that the area becomes half due to the mobility balancing. I'll keep 100 here. That means 100 micro. And I'll click OK. I'll right click here. I'll keep the value 20 micro and I type 100 micro and I'll click OK. I click save it. Now I will rename the load resistance. Here you can see the name will be R load and I click OK. To give the value, I right click here and the value will be 100K. Now this I rename as VDD and I give the value as 5 volt. I'll click to save. Now only one thing is remaining to configure the input test vector voltage, that is V2. I'll right click here, I go to the advanced and this will be a pulsed waveform. And let me give the values. I give 0, 5, 0, 1 nano, 1 nano, 20 micro, 40 micro. And I don't give number of cycles. I'll check here 0, 5, 0, 1 nano, 1 nano, 20 micro, 40 micro. Okay. So our input test vector is there. Now I have to place the pins. I'll click here. I'll keep the name A and the direction is input. I'll click OK and I'll place it here. I right click to vanish it. I go again to the pin. I give the output as Y. Now I give the direction as output. I'll click OK and I place it here. Now here you can see that this is a CMOS structure, that is CMOS NOT gate or inverter, and this is also a CMOS inverter. Intentionally I will put a internal taking pin here. I'll name it as INT so that we can check how the voltage is getting first inverted, then inverted again to get the same voltage. Now I'll place a pin INT. I keep it as bidirectional. I'll click OK and I'll place it here. I right click to vanish. Now let me scrutinize the entire netlist. I'll go to the SPICE netlist from the view menu and here let me turn on my marker pen. Here you can see there are 2 PMOS with 200 micro width and 2 NMOS with 100 micro width. So the PMOS has double the area of the NMOSFET for mobility balancing, and here we have load resistance of 100K, load resistance of 100K, input VDD as 5 volt. We have the pulsed waveform as input vector, 2 MOSFET models which are coming from .lib here, and we don't have the .ic or the .tran yet, so we have to include that to complete the simulation. I'll close this circuit and I go to the SPICE directive and I click the .ic here. I'll click OK and I put it here, and then I click on tran, then I click on the SPICE directive and I enter .tran. I click OK and place it here. As soon as I right click on the tran, the dialog box open up, and here I will give the transient time. The stop time will be 80 micro. The start saving time is 0 and the maximum time step is, that is the time step is 2 micro. So here we have our stop time 80 micro, the data saving start time as 0, and the maximum time step is 2 micro. That is the time step 2 micro. And here you can see the .ran is getting constructed here. This will be included in the SPICE netlist, which we have just seen few minutes back. I'll click OK to include this in the SPICE netlist. Click OK here. I'll save the circuit. Now we are all done with the construction and giving the values to all the placeholders. Now I will click the run button to run the simulation. Here I'll click and I'll click zoom to fit so that the circuit becomes much more visible. Now at the left hand side we have the window, and from here I'll take my probe to the input A and this is A. Then I hit B from the keyboard, and then I click here, and then again from keyboard I hit B, and then again I go to here with my probe and click on the output pin Y. So here let me bring my marker pen. There is nothing about the truth table because this is very simple and straightforward. You can see the initial waveform is like this and the final waveform is the same. In between we have put a testing pin as here, naming it INT, and that is just the reverse of the initial input voltage. So that means the signal is getting inverted twice to go back to its original form at the output. So the circuit is working perfectly as a buffer, and the scenario for one cycle is getting repeated for another cycle. So we have 2 cycles. For the 2 cycles, the buffer is performing as expected, and at the internal pin we can see the inversion is happening as an inverter, and it is inverting again as the final output to get the same output as input in the output pin. So here we are done with the construction of an CMOS buffer circuit, and we have verified its functionality by placing an internal pin in addition to the input pin and the output pin, and giving the test vector as a pulsed waveform shaped like square waveform, and we have checked its output and confirmed that the output conforms to the expected output of a buffer. We are done here. Thank you very much for watching up to this point, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. In case you have some dislikes, put that as in words in the comment section down below, and bye for today.